Recording. Just check and see if I made a new stream on your Facebook. Alright, we're gonna start streaming. Yes, we sure do.
Oh, you want to play when Mike come on?
We can do that.
Yeah, right before he come on.
Mm-hmm. Alright, so go ahead, kick it off, brother.
All right, welcome to the Grind Continues. I'm back. Took a year off. Well, the pandemic made me take a year off. I didn't really take a year off, but this is my sixth episode right here at the Hub Life Radio. The Grind Continues. This is my podcast that I started last year in February. And we did about 4 or 5 episodes, and then, we had to shut down because of the pandemic.
I always tell people,
so now I'm back.
2 worlds.
And I got my guest tonight, Michael J. Warren. He'll be on in a few minutes. He's not in studio. We're going to do it via phone. He's over in New York, so he didn't make the trip over, so we're going to do it via phone. It's a lot of things I want to talk about, man. Y'all know me. I'm very, I talk a lot of, junk on Facebook, on Instagram. And, sometimes I joke around a lot, but a lot of times I'm serious. So a lot of stuff I put up, it's just a lot of things I be thinking about. And, so I post it on Facebook just to give people, that's not really paying attention to certain things, just to let them know what's going on. So we got a lot of different people that's going to be up here. We're trying to switch the show up a little bit. We're going like, we got my man Mike tonight, director of Best Shot. He also directed Fade to Black with Jay-Z. He directed Free Meek with Meek Mills, and he just did finished up on a Nicki Minaj documentary that's going to air on HBO Max. So we got we got a lot of guests coming in. I don't want to tell you everybody that's coming in, but we got some surprises that's going to be coming in. It's going to be every Monday at 7:30, 7:30 to 8:30. So you could tune in. It's going to be on my Facebook Live and my Instagram. You got it on my phone. Mm-hmm. So we gonna we're not gonna wait, man. I'm not gonna take up all the time. We'll talk to y'all a little later after I finish talking with my guy Michael J. Warren. We're going to play a little intro to Best Shot, and then we're going to jump right into the interview with Mike.
I always tell people there's 2 worlds. The streets is a different world. In the city of Newark, carjackings and murders, and sometimes I wake up and it's like, how much of a difference am I really making?
Deny, Omar! Stop ball, stop ball!
I want to win a state championship too, but I want people to go to college. I don't just want to win and ain't nobody going to college. What's it for? People don't understand. If you don't have a plan, the streets have a plan out there for you.
We went to the court, and they didn't even have him in the system.
So it's like he was never arrested.
Right.
And then a month from now, he'll have a warrant.
Exactly, for not showing up to court.
I know the story, because I was a street kid. But I was given second chances, and I think people deserve a second chance, because not everybody's bad, man. Some people just make bad decisions.
Bulls guard Jay Williams has been involved in a motorcycle accident. The second player taken in the draft was transported to the hospital in critical condition.
These injuries could definitely change his career permanently.
For a long time, I was a victim to my circumstance. Woe is me, Jay with the accident that changed my life. But there was a moment where I took that circumstance and I let it empower me. Because I want to make change, not just in myself, but within other people.
Y'all need to come together, man. Y'all play like this, y'all need to play like this. Y'all will keep having this feeling if y'all keep playing like this.
I want this experience to change lives.
You read that letter I wrote to you, right?
Yeah, I read it. Nobody really said nothing like that to me before.
It's my job to keep pushing you step by step.
Oh! Start over! Kareem's knees touch.
For so long in my life, I let my past define who I was. But if I'm too focused on what was, I'll never focus on what's going to come.
Hey guys at home, I got somebody that wants to say what's up to you. Hold on. Yo, what's up, y'all? Every experience in life is a teacher.
My dad, he's in jail. Sometimes I cry at night because he's not here.
In these last few months, I've probably been in like 10 different houses. People want power and money. They try to kill each other for it.
We just found out that Jahad's father passed away. Yeah.
At the end of the day, you guys got an unbelievable mentor, and I want you to learn from everything that you've done.
All right, that's the intro to Best Shot. If you ain't seen it, I'm sure everybody's seen it. We were trying to get Best Shot 2, but, you know, we got to do a lot of work, man. So I need y'all to, you know, go to Michael Instagram and blow him up. He's MJW Films on Instagram. Blow it up and let's get this Best Shot 2 going. So I'd like to bring in my guest, Michael Warren. Mike, how you doing?
I'm good, OG. How you doing, man?
I'm hanging in there, man. I'm glad. You know, I got back into the podcast and I said I got to bring Michael on. You know, he's just such a great guy, and you're doing such, you know, great work out there. I think a lot of people don't know, you know, on this side, you know, the type of work that you do. And I just thought it would be, you know, the best thing to do to get you on the first show.
Well, I'm truly honored, OG. When you reached out, I was like, oh, this sounds like so much fun. So, you know, I'm happy to talk to you at any point in time. So thank you for asking me on that. I'm truly honored.
No problem. How you been, man? How you been holding up during this pandemic?
Pretty good, you know. Busy, you know, which is a blessing, obviously. Working a lot, and you know, staying. You know, it's been a weird year for everybody, but just sort of like paying attention to reality, but sort of burying myself in work to escape it from time to time. You know what I mean?
Right. So actually, you still been like filming and doing work during the times when most places were shut down?
Yeah, like, you know, I'm doing a couple things right now, and yeah, it was weird. Like, we definitely got shut down for a while, right when it all started. You know, very early spring, late summer. You know, about a year ago, basically. So it was strange there for a while, and it went quiet for a while, but then it's been back, and it's been back pretty ferociously since then. So again, I'm just super grateful to be able to work during this moment.
All right, well, let's jump right into it, man. I know I was your favorite person to work with, but no, I mean, I see you've worked with some heavy hitters like Jay-Z and Meek Mill, Nicki Minaj, and, you know, I'm sure it's some other great people you work with, but those are the ones that, you know, I can connect with. How was it working with, you know, those guys? I know, you know, you just finished up the project with Nicki Minaj. I'm not sure, did that come out yet on HBO Max?
No, it's not out. It hasn't been announced, like, when it's coming out yet.
Okay.
So we're getting really, really close. Those dates will come out soon. I'm sure Nicki herself will announce them when the time comes.
Okay. Okay.
But yeah, we don't know exactly when it's dropping yet, but it's cooking.
How was it working with Nicki Minaj?
It's great. I mean, I don't know if you know, but I've been following her for 10 years. So
right,
when
this
she
is
was dropping her debut album. I made my first film on her.
Right. This is your third. This is your third project with her, right?
Yeah, correct. So like I did one 10 years ago, right as her first album was coming out, and then I did one, I don't know, like 5 or 6 years ago, and then we reunited. And you know, she's a very interesting person. You know, like she's got a lot to say. She does a lot of things, and when she's on screen, you know it. You know, and so I'm grateful. It's pretty rare for someone like me, a director like me, to get to come back to an artist multiple times. It doesn't happen very often.
Okay.
And so for this being my third time with her, it's a really rare opportunity, and so I'm excited for the world to see what we put together this time around.
That's great. I'm looking forward to it because I know.
Yeah, it gets pretty deep in places, and it hits some pretty interesting notes, I think. So I'm excited for the world to see it.
So we might see another side of Nicki Minaj. You're telling us.
Yeah, you definitely will. I mean, I would hope that everything I've made of her showed a different side of her than you see when she's, rapping necessarily. So
right.
I'm always trying to profile the woman behind the artist.
Okay.
And so I'm very confident that you're going to get a good look at the woman behind the artist this time around as well.
Okay, that's what's up, Mike. I'm looking forward to it. I'm sure a lot of Nicki Minaj fans are also looking forward to seeing something.
They're definitely looking forward to it, OG. They as soon as it got announced I was doing it, they took my picture and put a pink wig on me and started putting it all over Instagram, and it was really funny. I was actually kind of honored that they just started basically doctoring up pictures of me so I had pink wigs on. I thought that was kind of hilarious.
Yeah, I shared that on my Instagram.
That's right, you did. That's right, I forgot. Yeah, I thought it was funny. I was like, this is so, they're so rabid, they are very passionate. They are very dedicated to her. So I felt honored that they even just decided to put a pink wig on me.
Okay, so even with I see you did Jay-Z's Fade to Black, and it says that it was one of your that was your directing debut.
It was, yeah. Yeah, I was an editor for a really long time before that.
Okay.
And of course, I was a huge Jay-Z fan when the call came in, and it was probably. Let me think about this. It was probably my first brush with greatness. Obviously Jay-Z is Jay-Z, and so for me it was sort of just. I was excited. Luckily, I was ready for the moment, obviously, but it was a whole different level once you start working with someone like him. And I was, this is 15 years ago now, 14 years ago. So I was much younger.
Right.
But Jay-Z was. He is, but certainly back then for me, I was listening to every album that came out. He had the whole rap game on a string at that point, and so it was a huge break for me. And I've had the chance to reconnect with him a couple of times over the years. I interviewed him for the Free Meek project, which Jay-Z was an executive producer on, and it's cool. It's I'm kind of hoping we do something for the 20th anniversary of Fade to Black. It's obviously a very important film for me in my career, and I know Jay loves it because he's told me that a couple times. And so, maybe we'll do something for that. And of course, if there's a premiere, a party, OG, I'm inviting you. You don't even have to ask.
Oh man, I'm there. I'm there. Just tell me.
I know you are. I'm trying. It's tough when you. It's the list when you're working with people like that. The list is tight. It's hard to. Even the director doesn't get that many names,
but you got.
You'd be very, very high on my list to come to something like that.
You got to tell them it's Coach OG
sorry.
from the famous Newark Brick City, and I'm sure they'll just say he can bring whoever he wants. Come on, Michael, make sure he gets here.
I'll try, OG. I'm not making it up. I'm going to try. First of all, it needs to happen. First of all, is there actually going to be some sort of 20-year celebration for that? I don't know.
Right.
If there is, I'll be trying hard to get you in the door.
Okay.
100%.
I appreciate that. I mean, I'm a fan of Jay-Z. I'm a Tupac guy, but I like good music.
I know you are a Tupac guy.
Yeah.
I love your dedication to Tupac. I really do because I think Tupac obviously was on another level.
Right.
and I think everyone who really understands, or most people, certainly people who of our generation understand that, certainly. And even as, you know, some doofy white kid from Massachusetts, I understood some of the power of Tupac. Of course, I could never completely understand everything, but I was obsessed with him, and I thought everything he was talking about was so powerful. And I think it's so funny, OG, how you always post about Tupac. I love it. I'm like, I love OG's dedication to Tupac, because I think it's warranted, obviously. He talked about things that a lot of people haven't been able to quite frame up the way he had, the way he did, and so I love your dedication to him.
I mean, I'm just, you know me, Michael. We worked on a project together. I'm sure you picked my brain a lot when we did the interview up in Patterson, and a lot of stuff you asked you didn't use. So I know you kind of studied the stuff, and I just like people that's about the people. And come from the heart. Like when you come from the heart. And people will respect you more. I get into a lot of debates. I don't want to go off topic, but I get into a lot of debates with people about Tupac and his, his lyrics and things like that. And he's not a better rapper than this person, that person. But I'm not even the music. I love the music, but I'm looking at him as the person he was. Like at the age he was, sitting down doing interviews, and his intellect was just so high. Like he was before his time, and that's what grasped me with him. It's not, I love the music, but I love the person as well. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And that's what I try to explain to people. Like he's bigger than rap. I mean, or hip hop. And people don't want to give that credit, but that's my guy, and I'm gonna always give him the credit, no matter what people say. But
I agree with you. I think he deserves that attention. For as long as we're around, we should be talking about that man.
That's right. And just to jump into that, you did a documentary on Meek Mill, Free Meek. I think I watched it 5 times because I like stuff. I like stuff with messages, and I like stuff that make me think and make me, try to understand like this system that we live in, because this system is it's tough and it's brutal, and people think this system really cares, and it really doesn't. From my point of view, that's just my thoughts. No. And when I watched the Free Meek documentary, and what he was going through, and it wasn't even major charges. It was like, it was crazy, and I'm glad that you did something like that, because we need that, especially in these times now where we're running into. Everybody's protesting, marching, and Black Lives Matter, and it's the police and this and that. So I thought that was a great documentary, and I'm glad somebody did something like that and brought it to light, because a lot of young kids follow Meek Mill, and they needed to see that.
Well, first of all, thank you for watching it, and of course your opinion of that particular documentary is super valuable to me. And it was something I could not say no to. Obviously, I've made a lot of rap films in my life, and obviously I love that. I love music. I love rap, but that was way bigger than rap. Obviously, that project was an examination of America.
Right.
It was by far. At the time, was by far the most complex series I had done, because just to study his case alone, OG, was 4,000 pages of transcripts, court documents, affidavits, police reports, and we sat there. Walter, you remember Walter?
Yeah, Walter just hung out with me,
and we read that thing like a book, and like made a timeline, and it was so complicated the way they had him caught in that system.
Wow.
That, Meek himself couldn't remember some of the details. You'd ask him hey, what happened on this and that? He'd be like, I can't remember, because I had so many court cases and so many interactions with that judge and so many lawyers. It was like a murder board. We had a chart up on the wall where we were trying to connect the way it all went down, and even with us studying it it was we were getting a degree in it, we still would have gaps in it. We're like, well, how did that happen, and how did this happen? And it was just so obvious the trap that can be, and how once you're in that trap, there's really no way out. I mean, the sad truth about Meek Mill is how ununique his story is. The thing that's unique about him is he had the money and the influence to like mount a real defense and to get Beyonce and Jay-Z chanting his name. You know, like he was able to. He had a big microphone, big megaphone. That's the only thing unique about his story. And sadly, there's so many other people who got arrested on some BS, and their lives are, you know, maybe ruined, certainly challenged, and they really don't have a chance to get out of that. And so it was a huge moment, like for me, just to dig into that. And of course, like I didn't walk into that project thinking that corrupt cops didn't exist and that the judicial system was fair to people of color. I knew that it wasn't. Absolutely, that's why I wanted to jump into that project. But spending a year or two of my life studying that case and what happened to him, and seeing just the way the system can't be stopped and just grinds forward.
Right.
It's a heartbreaking story. It still is. You know, like he's traumatized. You know, he will forever be traumatized from from what happened to him. And it's sad that in a country where people are supposed to be free, it's you know, you and I talked about this back in the day, OG. There's two worlds, right? And you know, he's in the world where I don't know if I'm allowed to swear on Facebook or wherever we are, but he got, you know, the charges alone were from cops who had been sort of proven as a unit that had proven to be corrupt.
Right.
And he still couldn't get free from that. And it's just horrifying to spend that much, you know, to dig into that story and understand that he's one of the lucky ones, sadly. So for me, it was a great moment, challenging project, but in a lot of levels. But I love that I got to dig into that because it's something that I felt really passionate about, and it's been interesting, you know, the last year. And I would love to hear your thoughts. Not that I'm interviewing you this time, but I would love to hear your thoughts on what happened over the last year and what happened in the cities. You know, all the protests that happened because. Of course, there's so much distance to go. It takes it took 400 years to get here. It's going to take many years to get out of it.
Right.
But I don't know. Like we're in a really interesting moment where people, specifically white people, more white people are paying attention to it.
Right.
And I'm not saying I'm encouraged because there's so far to go, but. You know, I watched those protests. You know, I saw them happening on my street, and it was kind of. I felt like I was living in the '60s. I was like, this feels like all of the '60s happening in a single summer right now.
Right.
It was kind of a mind-blowing moment. So, anyway, I just love that I got to do Free Meek, and I love that. I don't know. Like, I would love to sort of hear your take on what happened over the summer because, you know, obviously you understand these things. In a profound manner, and I would love to sort of hear your take on, you know, all the George Floyd protests that went down this summer.
I mean, I watched it like you watched it, and you know, I'm not easily convinced, to be honest with you.
I know.
Yeah, it was a lot of opportunity for people too. Like, you know, I'm starting to see like different things that maybe should have been going on. Like this stuff has been going on since I can remember. You know, it's been going on, and now, you know, I'm more in tune with. Like I just watched the Judas and the Black Messiah, and you know, yeah. I mean, it's like I just watched. They just did the documentary on Billie Holiday. And you know, I'm watching these things, and I already tell people like this stuff goes on now. And Billie Holiday was in the 40s, and the Judas and the Black Messiah, that was in, you know, the 60s, 70s, like. And we had powerful people, you know, young people. Like even when we talk about Tupac, he was young, but he came from that womb, like the Black Panthers. He came up in that, and I try to figure out where did it get lost? Like where are our powerful people that stood for the people? Like everyone is afraid, and now being that the George Floyd incident happened, and we've been having these incidents for a long time, and now everybody wants to be involved. Why? Because it was shown, and now everybody everywhere, not just in America, were protesting. And now, I mean, I don't know what's going on with the Black Lives Matter movement now, but I don't see, you know, nobody out. It's like it's died down now. It's like back to normal. And, you know, people are more aware of what's going on, but this stuff been going on, and I just think, I don't know, it's opportunities for people. You know, I'm going to take advantage of this. Like I'm watching the NBA, and they got on shirts, you know, depicting, like, you know, black movements, and now everybody's concerned about HBCUs, and these schools been around forever. And now we have professional athletes promoting HBCUs, and they didn't even go to HBCUs. So I don't know. I guess it's an opportune time to do it. So they're jumping on board. And I was just talking to somebody last night. Like we were watching the All-Star game, and a lot of those guys don't come back to the communities that they came from. They don't come back and help the people that helped them along the way. And I be trying to understand why. Is it like they telling them not to do this stuff? So I'm kind of conflicted with the whole movement, and because I've been out here doing the movement basically, you know, by myself, you know, me and Coach Malik and maybe a couple of my other guys who came through the program who come back and give back. And I've been in debt doing this stuff, like, and people will look at you doing it and won't offer you nothing. And I'm not looking for a handout because I feel as though I can do it because it's not that hard. But if you had resources, it would be so much easier, and you can save so many more, not even just kids, just people in general. You know, and I think people look at others and see them struggle, and I think they wait for the struggle to end so they could just stop doing it. And it's just, I'm just confused, man. You know, and I look at a lot of things. I don't look at it for what, you know, I might look at the face, but I want to see what's behind the face. You know what I mean? Yeah. And everybody is not. Everybody's not genuine, Mike. And another thing is, I'm starting to believe that people don't start movements because if you look at all the movements that was going on in the 50s, 60s, 70s, early 80s, it was infiltrated by someone who knew, you know, like they put somebody in there to take the organization down. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. So you can't even invite people to events because you don't know if these people are really for you or against you. So it's kind of hard to mobilize and organize nationally because Hoover has showed that he took down almost every organization that was, you know, for the community, for the black community. So I'm just, you know, I'm gonna keep fighting the good fight, man. You know, I get upset sometimes when I see certain things and I see people of power and then they don't reach out to people, you know, that need or could use the help. I ain't gonna say need because sometimes things get done without the help, but that's where I'm at with it, man. We could talk about this all day, Mike, and you know, I just want to see people win. I don't care if you're my friend or if you came through my program. It doesn't bother me. I just want to see everybody win, and I wish everybody felt the same way.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I mean, I think there's a lot of wisdom in what you just said.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like I said, I look behind the face, man. I read stuff. I might read it 10 times just to make sure I'm getting the right, you know, understanding of what I'm reading. Because sometimes we look at stuff and we judge it from the first time we saw it. But no, you got to look at it again because you might have missed something. And that's why when you did Best Shot, and people was like, "Oh man, Best Shot, that was great, man." Had people hitting me from all over the world, Mike. It was crazy, like. And then when I respond, and they like, "Is this really you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm serious, Mike." And I'm like, and I responded to everybody that DM me or message me on Facebook. I respond, and kids from Africa asking me how could they get over here, they want to play for me and things like that, and I'm like, I'm talking to people in Japan, and it was just crazy, Mike. Like I was like, wow, like, and they you know, they reach out probably to these people, these famous people all the time, and I'm sure they get bombarded with you know, DMs and things like that, but sometimes they just want to hear you know that you responded to them. You don't even got to talk to them. I mean, you could just text something back, say something, and you just made somebody's day, man, off of social media. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just doing that documentary, people was like, wow, man, that was great. That stuff you was telling those kids, I said, I've been saying the same thing for the last 30 years. It's just that somebody captured it. Like, I didn't say nothing new. This is what I tell all my kids, depending on the situations, because all the situations don't be the same. But I think I love the way you captured everything that I did, and I just want to say I know you're a great director, Mike, because you was never in the way. So that means you knew what you was doing, because you was never in the way. Like, you let me be me. You wasn't in the way of practice. The kids wasn't sidetracked, you know, maybe afterwards when they come and eat all y'all food and things like that. But while we were doing the documentary, I thought it was very professional. I thought your whole staff was they were great, man. I can't, you know, you work with people and you be like, oh, I know this person probably gonna be mean, or, you know, you don't feel a vibe. I felt everybody's vibe that was working with you, and it made the transition of doing the documentaries so much better, man. It was like this is great, man. And I didn't believe it was going to be to the magnitude that it was until the first game, when I saw all the cameras at the Orange game, and I was like, oh, this is real. You know, like, yeah, it was surreal for me. And I just, what made you, I'm a sidetrack from Best Shot. We're going to go back to it, but what inspired you to do, you know, to work in like well, you do mostly documentaries, but what inspired you to go that route?
Documentaries in general?
Or just working in the industry, like what made you want to go, you know, into like film, television, you know, the things you're doing?
Well, you know, I don't know if you know this, OG, but I was a musician for like the first part of my life.
Oh yeah.
I am very lucky to have had two great parents and a mother who was very very real. And she said, you can play drums all you want, but like, what are you going to do to pay the rent? Because it's not probably going to be drums. Right. And so she planted that seed in my head, and I realized that, you know, the film industry is pretty big, and there's more opportunities there than perhaps in, you know, music. And so, like, for me, it was sort of like not the next best thing, because it's actually a better thing, but at the time it was the next best thing. And it ended up being so much better than probably my life in music ever could have been. So thanks to my mom for guiding me and helping me stay rooted, like firm feet on the ground. What are you going to do to pay your rent? Oh, yeah, good question. And then for me, it's sort of like, but at the same time, I've been doing this work ever since I was a little kid. Like, there's a photo, recently found a photo of an old neighbor of mine sent me a photo of me with like a VHS video camera, like filming a birthday party or something when I was really, really young, like 11. And I realized, like, oh, I forgot sort of, like, I've been doing this my whole life, just not professionally.
Right.
And I think it sort of comes out of, like, I'm very passionate about it. And, you know, there's that old saying, OG, like, you do what you love and you never work a day in your life. And I'm not going to say what I do is not work, because it definitely is work.
Right.
But I love it. And so for me, it was sort of a no-brainer. It just became this thing that I felt really passionate about. No one ever had to give me like a, hey, get motivated speech. I was always like, it was more like, slow down. You are too ready to go on this. Slow down. And so for me, it was just like a deep, like almost obsession. And then I just started putting piece to piece together throughout my early life, and slowly, just, you know, the grind grind continues, OG. I slowly put each little piece together, and it just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and then eventually Jay-Z was calling, and then eventually I get to do things like Best Shot, which is something I'm so enormously proud of. And I know you said you want to get back to Best Shot, so I won't talk too much about that until you ask me about that directly. But you know, I've been so fortunate to do something I love and to get to do it on a level that's, you know, pretty elevated. There's still, you know, plenty of room for me to grow, but
right.
I've obviously had a fair amount of success, and I've got to work with incredible people, not just in front of the camera, but behind the camera, as
right.
you sort of mentioned.
Right.
And for me, it was never a decision. It was just something I was so driven and so happy and just obsessive with it all, and it just sort of slowly chipped away at it. And, you know, I've been doing this for a long time now, and it just, you know, for anyone out there who's wondering how you do it like a half a step at a time forever, right. And then you get there, sort
right.
of. Obviously, I had amazing people giving me an opportunity, but meeting preparation is how you really get it done. And I was always ready in those moments when opportunity fell in front of me, and I just attacked the moment.
Well, I can attest.
That's how it happens.
Yeah, I can attest to that because I mean, I saw your work. I never worked with, you know, anyone on a movie set or a documentary before, but I thought, you know, you guys did a great job. But I just want to go back. I remember we were in Cali, and we were at the YouTube thing, and I was asking you the YouTube party that they had on the rooftop, yeah. and I think I could have slept there for like the rest of my life, man. I mean, I never, you know, I've never been involved in something like that, and I just thought that was, yeah. You know, I'm thinking that's the life. Like if you could just party in LA every night, and I mean, I know people work, but when in Beverly Hills while I was there, it didn't look like people was working because, I mean, everybody out eating and sitting at the restaurants at 12 o'clock in the afternoon, and I'm like, do people work out here? But I remember I had a conversation with you, and I asked you why you don't move out to L.A., and you said that the work is done in L.A., but the business is done in New York, if I'm not mistaken, or it could be vice versa. I know you said something like that, like you would rather...
I feel like I might have said it the opposite way. Like, the deals are done in L.A.,
right? The deals
happens around the world, like
right.
For a documentarian anyway.
Right.
Like, so obviously Los Angeles is the production capital of the world. That's still true.
Right.
I think you could argue that maybe India has got a bigger film industry than we do.
India? India?
Yeah, India, man. Don't sleep on India. They make a lot of film.
Oh, yeah?
But anyway, yeah, like, you know, LA's I have a weird relationship with LA. I think you're telling that story sort of points that out. It's like LA is an interesting city. I go there kind of a lot. Not this year, but I've been there a lot. I've kind of spent, you know, every now and again I'll spend like 4 months straight there.
Wow.
But the documentarian, like, there's not, you know, I'm not filming much in LA. I'm filming all over the world.
Right.
And thank goodness for that.
Right.
You know, I've been fortunate to direct on every single continent except for Antarctica in my career.
Wow.
And so that's where for me, that's the real side of it. Of course, the business is important, and shout out to my agents, and shout out to all the networks and all the great production companies, Boardwalk Pictures especially, who helped us make the show that we made, and Spring Hill,
right.
LeBron's company. But for me, the I'm not doing this to be in LA. I'm doing this to meet people like you. I'm doing this to travel around the world. I'm doing this to dive into cultures that I wouldn't get to experience unless I got to make films about them.
Right.
That's exciting to me.
Okay.
And you know, LA's LA. Like I will always be in LA. I live in Brooklyn, first of all. So anyone who doesn't know, I live in Brooklyn, so I don't live in LA, but I'm in LA a lot.
Right.
And I have some incredible people out there who look out for me and set me up and help us make these great projects 100%. But for me, my soul vibrates when I'm around the world, where I'm doing other things, and I'm in Newark and I'm following your season. That makes me excited.
Right.
Or I'm, just traveling the world and experiencing new cultures and things I wouldn't get to experience unless I had this great career. So.
That's great. I mean, I know you like doing what you do. It's up close and personal. You get to know the person that you're actually, doing the docuseries on, and I'm sure that's a great thing. You see sides of people that other people probably have never seen, which is a good thing. And we're gonna go right back to Best Shot. We have about 10-15 minutes. I just want to go back to the time. I think I spoke to someone on the phone first. Some lady came into my shop. I wasn't even open yet.
Theodora. Her name is Theodora, by the way.
Oh, Theodora.
I think at one point, her name's Theodora. She's working with me right now on the Nikki project, by the way.
Tell her I said hi.
Her name was Theodora.
Yeah, but I mean, she wasn't afraid, Michael. She was in the heart of what they call number blocks here in Newark. A lot of people are afraid of the number blocks. I'm talking about the people that live here. And she just walked around freely and walked up to me and said, "Are you Coach OG?" And I'm looking at her like, "Well, who are you? What do you want?" And my store wasn't even open yet. I was still in the process of getting it open. And she found me, and I'm like, she's like, "Yeah, we're thinking about doing a documentary on you." And I'm like, "What? Who sent you? Like, where'd you come from?" And it was funny, and she started asking me questions about the team, and we hit it off right there. Like, I don't even know this lady, but I'm like, okay, I'm gonna see what's going on. And to fast forward, I spoke to someone on the phone. I don't know if it was you or Walter, and you guys said you were coming out. You're gonna fly out, and I told you I was at camp, and you're like, yeah, we're gonna be there at 12 o'clock. We're coming 12 o'clock, and I'm like, hold up, these guys really coming out here from California, like. So now I'm getting a little bit more intrigued, and when I see, I was doing I was administration at the camp. I didn't do too much counseling. I let Coach Malik do all that. But I saw you guys walking up. I said, these must be the two guys. I looked at my watch. It was 11:58. I said, wow, they hit at 12 o'clock. Like, and then it was. I just was amazed that that somebody really was interested in my story, like, and I know it was two other guys, I think she told me it was a coach in Philadelphia and a coach in Brooklyn, if I'm not mistaken, that also were being interviewed or trying to get selected as well. And me personally, I'm figuring Philadelphia, Brooklyn, Newark, they're not going to pick me. Those are major cities, and Newark is just and Newark is a big city. And a lot of people know about Newark, but I just thought that Philadelphia and Brooklyn would overtake me, and I would, I wouldn't be a part of this project. But how did you guys? Where did Sean McCray come from? How did you know about me?
We did exhaustive research. I mean, we looked at everything in the tri-state area, or maybe beyond the tri-state area. I feel like tri-state, it depends where you are, what the tri-state is, but we looked at Connecticut, New York, Brooklyn, all the boroughs in Brooklyn.
Wow.
Philly, probably. Like, we were looking around New York City. I forget exactly why we were looking around New York City, but there was a long list, OG. You know that. And we looked at some of the people frankly, and some people right down the street from you. And ultimately, for me, it actually came down to a lot of things. But I just thought you were really fascinating, and I thought you were fascinating in a different way. You're not this person, like, you do yell when you're on the court, but you're not this, like, raving lunatic just screaming at kids.
Right.
I think Newark is an underrated city. It's a really important city when you look at the history of Newark.
Right.
Of course, it's always going to, it's right next to New York City, and so Newark's going to have, always be competing for attention with a place like New York, because New York is New York. But I thought that was really interesting too, and your personal story and your your early life, your 20s or whatever it was,
right.
Was also fascinating. And I felt like your backstory and what you were doing for young kids in Newark, the path that you had been on and the path that these kids could go down if someone like you wasn't intervening.
Right.
And it wasn't that you were, like, you had experienced it, like, firsthand, and to me that was so fascinating. It really came down to it came down to you, really. I was like, OG is really interesting. He's doing this in a way that I don't see a lot of, like it was like your credentials were sort of, your basketball credentials you couldn't question, but your life credentials you couldn't question.
Wow.
And I was like, this is like super real. And I know we don't have a lot of time left, but I love how real the series we made is. You said I stayed back a lot. It's because I didn't really have to do much. I mean, I did a lot, but you know what I mean? Like, it was all just happening, and we rolled hundreds, thousands of hours.
Yes.
I don't remember how much we rolled,
yes.
how much footage we captured, but it was thousands.
Right.
And shout out to my crew before my crew was incredible on that. You mentioned that. It was one of the best crews I've ever had in my life,
right.
And I'm so grateful for the people who helped us make that series.
We
just captured it all, and then we had a lot of editing to do, and again, I had a great editing crew to help breathe life into that. So for me, it was really you and your backstory, and in Newark, stakes are high, and that to me was like, stakes are high in a lot of places. Stakes are high in Philly, stakes are high in parts of Brooklyn, no question.
Urban America.
But it also felt like no one talks about Newark. I'm like, this is totally a city where the stakes are as high as these other places, but no one ever talks about this place.
Yep.
And then look at this coach who went through what he went through, and look at these kids who are standing at a fork in the road, and they can go this way or they can go that way. And the stakes are really high. I just didn't feel like any of the other programs. I don't want to say it too much, but the stakes were so high in your program that I couldn't say no, basically.
Wow.
And then once I felt that way, I just luckily everyone believed in my decision.
Right.
I had a lot of people, as you know, to convince. And luckily everyone was like, yeah, we see it too. This sounds really interesting. And so, again, thanks to Spring Hill and Boardwalk and YouTube and everyone who jumped in with us and did that, because and what I like about that series is how sort of raw and real it is.
Right.
And if you don't, maybe if you don't think it's raw and real, then please tell me, OG. But I thought
I loved it. I cried. I cried when you guys showed it in when you showed us the first I want to say the first 2 or 3 episodes in the auditorium, and I was like, wow, I didn't even know Isaiah's story to that extent until I saw the documentary. He hit it so well, and when he asked for a bus ticket or $2, you just think, this is just an average kid asking for whatever. And when I saw his story, I was like, wow, he never told us that. And if you look at him coming to school every day, he was well put together. He didn't look like he needed much, and he hit it very well, And I'm glad that, now he's doing great, man. He's at William-Patterson University. He has an adopted family that took him in. And this Jamie, she's a councilwoman in Orange. I mean, she has this guy on the straight and narrow. I mean, he's working in school, and she loves him, and her family loves him. And just from this documentary, put him in a position where he'll probably succeed, because he has that support.
Yeah.
But now, without this documentary, I don't know if Isaiah is in the situation that he's in now. It could be a different situation, and I'm truly grateful, for the documentary, and I'm glad, you believed in me and you convinced others that I was the person that might have, that might need to be, in this documentary, and I'm just glad at that. Another quick question. How did Jay Will get involved? I mean, was it other NBA players, ex-NBA players, or just his story alone made you say these two need to work together?
Jay Will came through, I think, Spring Hill.
Oh, okay.
Which is LeBron's company, for anyone who's listening who doesn't know what that is.
Right.
I don't know how they all were together, but basically, Spring Hill put him up, and I met him, and Jay is an eager man, and I thought he was really great too. We actually auditioned him in a way. We actually, a little known fact about that series is there's tape of Jay Will in Los Angeles coaching kids up.
Yeah, I saw that.
We wanted to make sure he actually had it. Not had it, of course he had it, but we wanted to test him. We did a screen test with Jay in LA.
Right.
And he crushed it.
Oh,
and
okay.
so he came. I think he was actually involved in the project maybe before I was on a level. Before I got in the mix, I think the project showed up with well, we're thinking Jay Will, and I watched the tape, and Jay lives in Brooklyn, not far from me,
right.
And we met up and chatted with Jamal from Spring Hill.
Okay.
And I was like, yeah, this guy's gonna be great. So that's how Jay got involved. Spring Hill. I'm pretty sure it was before me, and I'm pretty sure Spring Hill brought him to the table.
Oh, okay. And what about I'm sure the people want to know. I mean, I don't know. You know more than me. People keep asking me, will there ever be a Best Shot 2? And I keep telling them, I don't know. But I mean, you're here. I mean, any insight you might have, or we can tell the people.
Here's my insight. I am dying to do it. You know this, OG. We tried really hard to do a season 2. I think multiple times.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, at least part of that story.
I spoke to.
It wasn't in public, but I was talking to you about it at one point a couple years ago.
Yeah, I spoke to Dane. Yeah. Dane, I'm still in contact with Dane. Boardwalk Pictures, right?
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, I'm still in contact. Actually, he reached out to me and, said it might be a possibility. They was asking me different questions, but it was nothing set in stone. So, I mean, I'm still, if I text him, he texts me right back. So I'm still in contact with him. So I'm trying to get my own story out, my book. I'm trying to get somebody to do my book. Hint, Michael, my book, docuseries.
Yeah, no, I know.
But I mean, I've been talking to him.
We're trying, OG. We're trying.
No, I know.
Hollywood's a strange place.
I know.
And every night I was talking to some of my friends at Spring Hill the other day about it. And so we're trying. I don't really have a great answer for you on that. I wish I had a better answer, because I'm down, and I would love to do. Right before I got on this thing with you, I was talking to my girlfriend, and I said, "Man, we should be on season 4 of that show by now."
Wow, season 4? You would have been. You would have been on it like that. Wow.
Well, yeah, if we did, how many years ago was it? If we just kept going back into it,
3 years.
We would be on season 3 or 4 now.
No, 4 years. 4 years ago.
And all I can say is, Spring Hill tried hard. LeBron Spring Hill tried hard. Boardwalk tried hard, and there was we were pushing aggressively, and for whatever reason, it just didn't. It just didn't quite take off at season 2, and so I love this series. You know that. I've told you that. I think I've said it on this very interview. I love that series. I'm enormously proud of it. I love how real it is. I think it sidesteps a lot of the corny sports stuff that's out there. Sorry, but that's how I feel.
Right.
And I would love to do that show again.
All right. Well, that's what we're going into. That you would love to do it again. So that means it's always going to be talked about. So I mean, we could do. I mean,
yeah.
We'll see what happens.
I'm always down. I'm always down for a conversation about another season of Best Shot. I'm always ready for that conversation.
I know that's right. Well, I got a few minutes left, so I'm just gonna wrap it up. And I just want to let you know, Walter came over here and hung out with me, Michael. I mean,
I know. I saw on your Instagram.
When I'm gonna get Michael over here?
Yeah, I'll come over there. I've been scared of this Corona, OG. I'm not gonna.
Oh, okay. I got you. Well, I mean, when everything opens back up, well, Mike, it's about to open back up, man. They sent the third. They about to send the third stimulus. All the money's wasted. It's gone. So no more money can be made. So they about to open it back up, Mike.
OG, I would love to come see you in Newark, and I hope to host you sometime in Brooklyn or whatever.
No problem. No problem.
And yeah, so I'm 2 rivers away.
I know that's right.
I'm just over here in Brooklyn. I'm right here, and so I would love to come over there and see you soon. And so maybe this summer or whenever it's safe to move around freely. I'm
Right.
a little bit of a safety freak. I apologize for that.
Nah, no
Who I
problem.
am.
I'm not mad at you. Safety
But,
first.
yeah, I would love to come see you guys.
All right, Michael. I think this was a great interview. I'm gonna post it on my IG later on if you want to. I mean, my Facebook if you want to have people, go listen in on it or watch it.
Of course, I will.
I think it's powerful. I think you're a great guy. I think you do great work.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
hopefully we can meet up in the future somewhere. So again, I appreciate it, Michael.
Absolutely, OG. I feel the same way about you. I admire you, and I'm grateful that I've met you, and I hope to see you soon.
Yes, sir. Thanks again, Mike.
All right. Take care, OG.
All right, I'm gonna reach out to you later on.
All right, cool.
All right. Yeah, that was Michael J. Warren. He directed Best Shot, in case you came on late. He also did Jay-Z Fade to Black. Nicki Minaj is coming out on HBO Max, her docuseries. This is his 3rd time working with Nicki. And he also did Free Meek. He did a lot of other things, too. His bio is at MJ WarrenFilms.com. You can look him up. He got a bio up there, all the work that he did. He's worked with a lot of major networks, and he does great work. So this was our, first show back in 2021. I did about 5 shows in 2020, and like I said before, COVID shut down, the podcast. So I'm really looking forward. Every week I got different guests. Next week I got my guy. Gonna clear some things up. My man Terrence Dent, Mustafa, the one they falsely gave a kingpin charge and said he was the head of the Zoo Crew, and he went to jail back in 1998, I believe. He did 13 years in federal penitentiary. He's home now. He's been home for about 5 or 6 years, so I reached out to him last night. I said, I got to have you on the show. We got to let people know that the system isn't right. I'm one of those people that's not a fan of the system. And, we're going to talk about some things. He's my childhood friend, and we're just going to, talk about, life and, what happened to him, and hopefully it doesn't happen to others. So thank everyone for tuning in. I'm at the Hub Life Radio. You also can, help us out and log on to ZooCrewAllAmerican.com and order some apparel. We don't just sell Zoo Crew stuff. We sell a whole lot of other things. So ZooCrewAllAmerican.com, or you can stop by the store, 95 16th Avenue. Store sits on South 6th Street. OG tuning out. Thank y'all.